How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Before I Forget. This is my video channel inspired by my Instagram channel, 1985 Road Dog. On that channel, you'll find lots of pictures of my life in music as a fan and somebody that worked in the music business. I've also written a book, Tales from the Gutter and Other Rock and Roll Shenanigans. It's out via Amazon and Barnes & Noble online. Check it out. I appreciate it if you get a copy, if you're into what we're talking about here today. You know, I've been watching a lot of video of bands, like, you know, YouTube videos, etc., on whoever, Guns N' Roses, whoever's out there, The Cure, etc. What I've really noticed is sound systems in general have become so precise and clean and high tech. You can hear everything. So it's hard to hide any mistakes, etc., etc. In the old days, with those PA stacks on the side of the stage, now everything's hung up in the air. You know, there's 20 little cabinets on each side, and it sounds great, and it's clean, and it's precise. The old days, you'd have the giant bass bins and cabinets stacked up on the side of each side of the stage. That was so primitive. The cacophony of sound that would come out and bouncing around these arenas, you couldn't make out half of what was going on anyway. It was so loud, especially the metal bands, whoever, Motley, Ozzy, Rat, especially if you were the headliner. It's just so much like, seeing Wasp at Lemoore, giant PA stacks on each side of the stage. Your ears are bleeding. It's just so raw. You don't have that today. You go see, like, I always use the Rolling Stones as a good barometer because they always have the top notch of everything before anybody. PA, lights, whatever. So, I mean, the Stones, you go see the Stones in a football stadium, it's not overly loud and it's crystal clear. You can hear everything. That's what sound has become today. And all these bands on tour, I mean, I've seen some videos out there. I mean, you can't hide anymore. Whoever it is, Kiss. So it's like it's just not a wall of noise anymore. It's sound that you can really discern what's going on. People are sounding pretty bad out there, I gotta say. I don't go to a lot of shows. I don't really leave my house too much. But the point is, I have in the past seen a zillion shows. It's just, I don't know. It's just very sterile seeming to me. You see Guns N' Roses in a football stadium or somewhere in, South America or wherever, and the crowd's into it, but it's, that's the other thing. If you've seen the original when it was hot, it pales in comparison. I mean, seeing Guns N' Roses in the, 87, 88, 89, in there, I mean, they're never going to be like that again, ever. So it's just going to pale in comparison. And then when you can hear every little note of everything, there's no energy, it's just very mechanical. Click tracks and all this kind of stuff. Look, God bless Guns N' Roses, man. I love that band. And they're still doing it, and they're making money, and they're rocking. So good for them. But, I just, it's very mechanical. They're making money, but there's no soul in it. And for the people, in the global touring business, because when LA Guns was on the road in '88, the world was still a lot smaller. Sure, you'd go to Japan, you'd do a little European tour, but South America wasn't a big market at the time. Parts of Asia wasn't a big market at the time. It was very tough to get to Australia because it cost so much to make money. You couldn't make money. But now the touring business is global. So South America is a big market. For kids in South America, Guns N' Roses is a huge deal. Motley Crue, huge deal. No matter what it sounds like, it could sound like complete crap. And a lot of times with some bands it does. The kids are into it because they never experienced the original. I'm a harsh critic when it comes to this stuff because I've seen the originals. I've seen those days. I've seen bands at their peak. And I applaud every band that's still out there and playing and rocking and making money. But it's, you know, I'm only noticing this and talking about it because I see these YouTube videos that everyone's posting where it sounds so crystal clean but bad. You know, the band, whatever, it's not singing well. You know, so you know, I guess in order to keep the whole rock and roll alive, this is what's got to happen. So people are embracing mediocrity because there's nothing else. So, and for people that never saw the original, you know, it's a big deal. You know, but I see the Stones and they're always good. I've seen some bad shows, not great shows, but, you know, they don't use any tapes or anything. The Stones, what you hear is what they're playing on stage. And they usually sound really good. Again, Mick Jagger just turned 80 years old, so he'll still outperform most bands and most rock stars out there, Mick Jagger. But, yeah, it's something that I'm seeing that, you know, people that never got the original real deal Guns N' Roses or Motley Crue or the Cure, whoever, they're embracing it because they weren't there in those days. You know, it's a unique thing. When I was a kid in the 70s, going to see, you know, Kiss or Aerosmith or, you know, Leonard Skinner, whoever, there weren't a lot of older bands to go see. Yeah, Deep Purple might have been out there, you know, in the mid-70s, or you know, Savoy Brown, or, you know, Jefferson Airplane maybe was there. You know, the Beatles had broken up. The Stones were still around. Led Zeppelin was, you know, still there. But there wasn't a lot of older bands. It's not like today. There's so many older bands out on the road, bands from the 80s and the 90s. In 1975, there weren't a lot of bands from the 60s out on the road. So there wasn't a lot of old stuff to see. I guess there might have been if you would have really paid attention and gone to small bars and seen blues guys or guys that had really fallen down back into the club circuit. But now there's so many. I mean, you know, they do the New Wave Festival in California. I can't remember what it's called. Cruel World. You know, Human League, Adam Ant, Susie Sue, everybody's on it because it's nostalgia. But I mean, I've seen some of those performances on video. I'm like, man, it's just horrible. But people are accepting mediocrity because there's nothing else. And when the mediocrity's gone, you can be left with nothing. It's just going to be complete garbage. So, you know, it's something that I've noticed. And if you're out there, I'd mentioned in one of my other videos, go see as many shows as you can, whether they're good or bad, because these people aren't going to be around forever, and you would have missed your opportunity to see people. I've missed opportunities in my life to see people. You know, you regret it, but what are you going to do? You can't see everything, but try to see as much old stuff as possible, because even if it's not great, because as it disappears, you're going to be left with, you know, I don't know what. There'll be nothing. So appreciate the older acts, man. Thanks for tuning in. 1985 Road Dogs, the Instagram. My book is Tales from the Gutter and Other Rock and Roll Shenanigans via Amazon and Barnes & Noble, etc. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Ciao.